Hello and welcome to episode 47 of Smooth Traffic. It's the World Cup special. So we're just going to be talking about football and the usual shite in between. As usual, Johnny's here.
Hello.
And Ben.
Hello.
Oh God, I sounded like Ben. No, I want to change the way I said hello. Say that I'm here again, King.
Johnny's here.
We're up.
And Ben.
Much better.
We're up.
Oh, what a bastard.
Well done, Ben. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the upcoming World Cup in Russia. The teams that didn't make it, the teams that did make it, John's new obsession with Africa.
It's not new.
Not the flavour by Lynx, the actual continent. There'll be some football-themed art and a curious trip to Dictionary Corner. So, where better to start our World Cup preview than by looking at the teams that qualified? Or rather, the teams that didn't. A lot of big sides missed out this year, lads.
Yep.
I mean, first and foremost, the United States of America.
Oh dear.
Yeah. That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it, for them?
It really is embarrassing.
Did the Kangaroo Nation make it?
Yes, Australia will be there, Johnny.
Okay, that's good to know. Are they bringing kangaroos?
Possibly. Who knows?
I always thought they'd be good at football.
There'll definitely be more on them later, though, John. So stick around for that.
Yeah, listeners.
Obviously, alongside the USA, the Netherlands also missed out. One of those typical countries that make a hash of qualifying and then tend to just scuffle through at the end.
3-time finalists.
Nowhere to be seen. 3-time finalists. Most recently, that time they kicked the shit out of Spain.
That was weird.
It was. They played fantastic football in that tournament.
And then they turned into monsters at the end. Really weird.
I'm trying to think who it was that they played in the knockout stages of that year. Because that was 2010, wasn't it? Someone kicked 10 shades of shit out of them. And the manager came out afterwards and he was like, oh, it's disgraceful. And then in the final, they did exactly the same thing.
That was a weird... Anyway, I'm glad Spain won. Speaking of Spain, King.
Yeah.
Have you heard Sergio Ramos's World Cup song?
I haven't.
Another Star for Your Heart, it's called. It's really good. It's really good. I'll tell you what, that boy's got a career in music ahead of him.
Has he done a video?
Yeah, there's a music video and everything. Yeah, he's teamed up with some other Spanish singer, and yeah, it's called Another Star in Your Heart, and it's the official Spain World Cup song. And their captain is singing it. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is ridiculous.
It's brilliant. And I'll tell you what, Sergio
I can tell
Ramos.
that Ben approves.
he could be the next big thing. He could be like another Spanish singer that occasionally appears every 20 years and gets #1 records.
I'll tell you the other footballer who's got a World Cup song. Jerome Boateng.
No.
Now, I know that you're not a fan, John, but Jack Whitehall is currently doing a series on his YouTube channel where he's meeting a variety of footballers in preparation for the World Cup and doing various different things with them. And one episode, he went over to Germany and met up with a lot of the Bayern lads.
Oh, yeah.
And, recorded a World Cup rap song with Jerome Boateng.
Jesus Christ. Why couldn't he have gone back in time to 2010 and met the Netherlands World Cup team in the final and had 10 shades of shit kicked out of him?
I mean, I'd recommend his YouTube series at the moment. Some of them have been quite funny. Thomas Muller is an absolute gent, and he's got a cracking sense of humour. Constantly taking the piss out of Jack Whitehall.
I've heard he's a bit mad, Thomas Muller. He's got
he's
serious
definitely...
World Cup pedigree, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Thomas Muller. He's like he's on his way to becoming potentially one of the leading all-time scorers in the competition. So, yeah, he's nuts apparently. But
and Franck Ribéry comes across as just a massively disinterested bellend.
I think the French are normally like that, though, aren't they?
Jack Whitehall's doing like this training session with a handful of the Bayern lads. It's Boateng, Ribéry, Alaba's there, and a couple of others. Yeah, so he's trying to teach them like strange dance moves and things, and Ribéry just shows no interest whatsoever. But he's just stood there with this massive grin on his face.
He is just a random comedian, though, isn't he?
He is, yeah. I mean, I don't know how he got this sorted because most of those.
If you had
like
a second-tier French comedian come over here, and you'd be like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Why would you be that interested?
Ben summed up Jack Whitehall in perfectly there. A second-tier comedian. He is absolutely awful. He's not funny. He plays on the fact that he's got a stupid shaped head and he's a bit posh.
Most comedians play on something like that.
Yeah, I'm even annoyed talking about him. I don't want to even do this podcast anymore. So we're talking about Jack Whitehall.
All right.
Right. Who else didn't qualify then?
Italy didn't qualify.
Ah, yes. That is
Arguably
Still can't believe
the biggest nation not to make it to this World Cup.
I'm actually upset about that as well.
And I know one of our listeners is a big Italy supporter. Oh, he was part Italian, so he's going to be very upset as well. Both of our listeners might be upset.
I know nobody
One
has
definitely will be.
the right to be in the World Cup finals, but not being able to say goodbye to Buffon at the World Cup finals is really sad, because I think he's the best goalkeeper of all time, even though he's never won a Champions League, and Keylor Navas has won 3. It's a shame. And also, Italy are just one of those nations that make you excited to watch a World Cup because they're so passionate and they have the potential always to go, and reach the last stages, no matter how good or bad they might appear to be. I think the last European Championship, I thought they were one of the best teams and were very unlucky to go out.
Yeah.
So
Italy always grow into tournaments as well, don't they? Like, they always start off a little bit shit, and then they suddenly get a bit of momentum going, and then they're away. But
they'll struggle this time, though.
They will struggle this time, yes, Ben.
Starting from a bit too low a place.
good prediction, Ben. I like that.
First time since 1958 that we've had a World Cup without Italy present.
The year King was born.
Only the third World Cup not to feature Italy as well.
I don't know. I'm upset about that.
It's a massive shame. A lot of people will say that they won't be missed because...
Well, they're
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. But yeah, I think the World Cup will be a lot worse off for it.
especially when you've got such dross in the competition as well. Saudi Arabia. How are they always there?
Well, I mean, I would say don't worry about that, John, because, when the World Cup expands to, 80 teams or whatever it is they want next time round, then you'll get loads more dross.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
this is
the
last
Netherlands
World
will
Cup
probably
that's-
still miss out. So
I don't mind if the Netherlands miss out. They're a bunch of weird fuckers anyway.
I mean, on Saudi Arabia, they haven't been to the last 2 World Cups, though.
Or have they?
No. No, they haven't.
Or have they?
No.
No. No conspiracy theories here.
Other sides to miss out, Ivory Coast.
Yeah, it's a shame.
They've
I know. They were one of the big hopes.
Yeah.
I'd love to have gone there as well.
To the Ivory Coast?
Yeah, I'd love to go to the Ivory Coast.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get you a ticket.
Oh, thanks.
That's all right. Happy to help. I think you do well in Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah, it cost me a fortune to get there.
Yeah, I'm willing to pay for a ticket out there. You just got to get back. The other big side probably to miss out is...
Cameroon.
I was going to say Chile, but Cameroon are a good point.
Chile's a good point as well. Okay.
Cameroon, who released a new shirt just before they failed to qualify for the tournament in anticipation of going. But yeah, Chile, who are they the reigning South American champions?
They are. Yeah, I think they are. They beat Argentina on penalties, didn't they?
And they're not going to be at the World Cup.
No. Didn't Argentina knock them out, kind of? Because Argentina looked like they weren't going to qualify. It was Argentina or Chile were going to miss out or something. And then
it was crazy. There were like sort of three or four teams in the South American qualifying going into the last day that could either have finished 7th or 3rd in the group. It was absurd. But yeah, the RGs got lucky as usual and managed to qualify, and unfortunately that was at Chile's expense. But Peru have gone, so that's nice.
Don't like Peru.
Okay, that's going to make the discussion later on a little difficult. So, anyone else you're disappointed that aren't there, lads? Obviously New Zealand, I'm guessing, Ben, having just been there on holiday.
Very upset about that. Quite upset England are there, to be fair, because that'll just lead to more disappointment.
I'm concerned you've got hopes that are high.
I've got to admit, this isn't going to be popular, but I am a bit sad that Wales aren't there.
No, I completely agree. I think they've got a really solid side. They didn't necessarily have a tricky qualifying group, in so much as there were 4 teams in that group that could have won it, but I kind of thought they'd have enough quality to get through, but obviously missed out to Serbia, and Republic of Ireland went to the playoff and missed out too.
The thing is, they were never going to top get into the semis of the Euros, were they? They were never going to top that.
No.
So it didn't surprise me it didn't make it, to be honest. I just wanted to see more of Gareth Wales, one of the world's shining lights. What a goal!
In that Champions League final.
Gareth Wales' goal in the Champions League final was one of the best goals I've ever seen. When the ball went in the back of the net, I had about 1 or 2 seconds of just elevator music playing in my head, where I didn't know what had just happened, and I was just staring, just with some music playing. And only when the Real Madrid players started running off celebrating had I realised what Gareth Wales had managed to do with his brilliantly Welsh leg. What a goal.
Well, I think that seems like the perfect place to end on teams that didn't make it. Now we'll have a hilarious interlude and then get on to the teams that did make it.
Hooray.
Love you, Cameroon. Love you, Ivory Coast.
Love you, Gareth Wales.
This is Edge on Art. I know everything about art. I've been to the Louvre.
So, Johnny, I've got some art for you this time, obviously football themed, as we're doing a football special.
Oh, yeah.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 pictures this time. There's a bit of a change. Largely because I couldn't decide which one was
You know
best.
that means you'll have to pay me twice for my opinions on the art.
Maybe. But what I'm going to do, as it's football, I'm going to give you, instead of 90 minutes, 90 seconds to talk us through each one. So keep it quick fire. The very first one coming your way.
Alright then. Just having a little look. Oh my god.
This is The Art of the Game by Michael Brown, 1997 apparently. This is a painting of Eric Cantona, basically. I'm just going to start your timer. You have 90 seconds now. Go.
Well, what I'm looking at here is a picture of several Man United players dressed up in a classical fashion, in a sort of a Renaissance style. What it is a fucking debacle of a painting. I'll tell you that. The technique is poor. The likenesses are fairly poor as well, and it depicts these people to be something that they're really not. This Manchester United side of the 90s, with their incredible selection of is portrayed in a way that it gives them far too much glory for what was a collection of fairly average players put together and moulded into some sort of football team that only won the league because the league at that time was incredibly poor anyway. It's a terrible painting. I'm embarrassed to be looking at it, and I kind of wish I'd never ever seen it. And why anyone likes Eric Cantona anyway, I don't know. He's shit at everything.
He's a hero. I wonder if you say that.
He is a hero.
Embarrassing artwork. I'm disappointed you even shown that to me.
Why? It's perfect. It's even got Fergie
rubbish.
in the background.
I won't lie.
Rubbish.
Today is the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, me too.
And I can't believe that I haven't seen it before.
Absolutely awful.
It is
It's the
without
technique.
doubt. It's just one of the funniest paintings I've ever seen in my life.
It's embarrassing.
It is part of the
Absolutely
Eric Cantona
embarrassing.
collection, so there is more for you to look at in the future, Johnny. But anyway, that's your 90 seconds. So I have another one for you. This is a bit more traditional.
Sorry, Ben, can I just read the quote that Michael Brown gave about that painting?
Yeah, sure.
So, he said, "I created the painting in public view in a bar in Castlefield.
That doesn't surprise me.
Eric walked in on a quiet morning and sat down for a drink.
No, he didn't.
I approached him and he was enthusiastic to get involved. He purchased the painting before completion."
Of course he did.
That never happened.
We'll obviously share this picture on Twitter and stuff later.
Yep.
If you haven't looked for it yourself. It is brilliant.
Makes me upset. I need some more whiskey now.
Well, if we can find a picture of Duncan Ferguson, John.
Oh, that's more like it. What a man.
Anyway,
What a lovely big Scotsman. That's what football's all about.
here is another picture for you. And this is Going to the Match by Lowry.
Oh, I hate Lowry.
9 seconds, go.
I hate Lowry. What is the obsession with Lowry? His paintings are dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. They are so cold and rubbish, and it looks like it's been drawn by an amateur. I really don't get it at all. What I will say, though, is there is one thing I do like about this painting, and that's kind of the movement of the people. Because the people are arranged beneath the very poorly painted stadium, and it all looks like they're kind of moving around, and you get a lot of sense of movement from that, but it's a terrible painting, as all Lowry paintings are. People are obsessed with him for no real reason. I guess it's a fashion craze or something, but the stadium is painted badly, the houses are painted badly, the sky is painted quite well, But the factories that are sort of in the sky also painted badly. Basically, this is a bad painting. Don't waste your time looking at it. Go and look at something like a toilet roll instead.
I mean, what's the point of it then, Johnny? What is he trying to convey with that picture?
It's the misery of Middle England, isn't it? But you know what? In the modern times, Ben, it could equally be the misery of the English football fan. The English football fan who is charged £50 a ticket for a really shit game of football. The English football fan who's never seen his national team do anything worthwhile for over a generation. The misery of the English football fan who is now forced to pay £80 if they want a replica shirt.
So what you're saying is, John, although you think this painting is terrible,
Yep.
it is essentially timeless.
Yes.
Because it is just as relevant now as it was when it was painted.
Don't answer that question. You're out of time. There you go.
Just as we were going to get some real critiquing on there, John.
Yep.
Too late.
This is the trouble, you see. If we had an art TV show, which I think you would excel on, John.
Naturally.
The trouble is that Ben would be the showrunner, so he'd just be cutting you after X amount of time, so we wouldn't actually get anything done.
I'll be in your ear saying, "Go right, man. Hurry up. We've got to end this. We've got to go to adverts."
Wrap it up. I got the trained chimps coming on next.
I mean, I am an art expert, so I think I would do well on an art TV show. And really, that's what Smooth Traffic is aiming for in the future, is to scrap all the other segments and make it purely an art show, where I can talk about art, because that's what art shows are like.
Well, after John's frankly unsurprising opinions on that football-based art, we're back to the World Cup.
Hey.
It's in Russia, lads.
I like Russia.
It's big.
It is big. Are they playing it across the entire of Russia?
No, they are not. They are playing it just on the European side.
Okay.
So the very sort of western end of Russia.
King hasn't explained that very well, Ben. Basically, they're playing it on set-size football pitches.
Okay.
So you can't actually play a whole game across an entire country, because it would take ages for the ball to get from one end of the pitch to the other, especially in a country like Russia. In a country like Luxembourg, if Luxembourg ever hosts the World Cup, then that would be absolutely fine. It would only take maybe a day to get the ball from... But Russia, it would take a galactic year, Ben.
Long time.
Shit.
Cool, okay, well thanks for clearing that up. So Russia are in Group A then?
Russia are in Group A, Ben.
Why?
Because that's the way that FIFA's seedings always work, John. The host nation goes in Group A. Except in 2002, when there were two host nations. So there was one in A and one in H. But we won't get into that. Group A. Clearly the most boring group in the World Cup. Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Uruguay.
Chlamydia of a group.
The most exciting thing you can say about that is that Mo Salah might be there. And if he is, Egypt should definitely get to the second round.
They'll win the group.
Do you think? I mean, I don't see why they can't, but do you not think that Uruguay are strong enough to...
I think my money's on Uruguay.
They're shite now. Uruguay will finish second or not qualify.
Okay.
Because Russia will somehow pull it out of the bag in their home country.
Perfect. So Group B, this is a bit more interesting.
Group B. Now, there are some great countries in this group. Portugal, Spain, Morocco and Iran. Now, Portugal, Spain and Morocco, all very close geographically. What does that mean? Nothing at all.
No, they're not. They're not actually, because Morocco is in Africa and Spain and Portugal is in Europe.
Very good, John. However, what we do know is that Portugal is home to the best player on the planet at this moment in time.
Possibly ever.
And who is that man?
It's Ricardo Quaresma. Yeah, Ricardo Quaresma.
Without
Incredible.
a shadow of a doubt.
Best player I've ever seen.
Now, let me give you some hard-hitting facts.
Are they about Quaresma?
They are about Quaresma and about this group. Ricardo Quaresma has never played against Iran.
Really?
Never played against Iran.
Neither have I. That's not an interesting fact.
That's Iran's loss, to be honest.
Portugal have played Iran twice, and Quaresma didn't play in either game. So
neither did I. I mean, again,
he must have been injured, because you can't leave a player like Quaresma out.
Well,
he is the greatest player of all time.
It's lucky
possibly,
you said that, because Ricardo Quaresma, 75 Portugal caps.
It's not enough.
Since he made his debut in 2003. Yet, this is his first World Cup.
What?
Yep.
He must have been injured.
Didn't make the cut for 2006.
Getting more tattoos.
Didn't make the cut for 2010.
Also
didn't make the
tattoos.
cut for 2014. 2014, I believe, he was left out at the expense of Nani.
Oh, that was a mistake.
The decision was made that Nani offered more than Quaresma.
Nobody has ever offered more than Quaresma.
Maybe they mean financially.
The man is a footballing machine. He's got the right foot of a god, and the left foot of another god.
So are you putting Portugal for winning this group then?
Oh God, no.
No. Morocco.
Okay. King?
It's Africa's year.
So it's going to be Spain then. Spain win. Who's second?
No, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Portugal to go through as group winners.
Quaresma top scorer in the group.
Spain to stumble to a second place.
This is Africa's year. Morocco are going to win the group.
Group C.
Group C.
Also an interesting group.
Yeah, pretty interesting. France, Australia, Peru and Denmark. John's already made it quite clear he doesn't like Peru.
Don't like Peru.
In the last couple of days, Paulo Guerrero has been approved, the Peruvian captain, to play at the World Cup, despite having been banned previously for consuming cocaine, among other things. When he accidentally consumed it from some herbal tea.
There's no way you can accidentally consume it, surely, unless literally
Apparently
someone has spiked your drink.
Apparently he was given this special tea, and one of the ingredients, without his knowledge, was cocaine. There was also another banned substance in it, again, not to his knowledge.
When somebody offered him the tea, did they say, "Do you want to get fucked up?" Because it sounds like how many banned substances are in tea normally?
The thing is, what I will say is that from this whole situation, the Court of Arbitration for Sport and the World Anti-Doping Agency have both accepted that they believe that he didn't know any of those substances were in the tea, but they were upholding the ban on the basis that if they didn't, they thought they'd be open to a flurry of future cases where people would sort of say, "Oh, I didn't know," and then they'd just get away with it because they'd cite him as the example. However, the captains of France, Australia and Denmark all wrote to FIFA and asked for his ban to be overturned to allow him to play at the World Cup.
Has that been proven?
There's a letter signed.
Have you read the letters? Can you read one of the letters out, please?
I think it was just one letter that they all signed. I don't think they individually wrote letters.
Oh, I'm sorry, King. It's just the way you said they all wrote. Now I'm very suspicious, King. Very.
So who's going to win the group
suspicious.
then? We'll be here all day if we don't know it.
Well,
is there an African team in this group?
No.
Nope.
But your kangaroo friends Australia are in there. Paul Pogba's France are in there. Paul Pogba has a lot to prove at this World Cup.
Yeah.
And also,
if he does well, he might get his own painting as well.
And the other team in this group, John, Denmark. I mean, if they get their act together, I can't see anyone but France winning the group. However, if they do that classic France thing of deciding they don't want to play, then I can see them finishing bottom.
Could be a good group though. I think there'll be some good games in there.
Christian Eriksen.
Christian Eriksen is in cracking form, so I think Denmark to go through, certainly. And Peru to be inspired by the return of their captain. So
their
Peru and Denmark to go through.
Dunking champion who likes to dunk his face in cocaine-flavoured tea.
Yeah.
So Group D is a team from Africa, Johnny?
Group D, Argentina, Iceland, Croatia and Nigeria.
Best kit ever.
Now, all I've written down here is Nigeria. Shirt sold out in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Their home shirt was released and...
They only made 15 of them, so so the squad bought them.
So
there was none left.
Apparently there were people queuing up, ready to go into the Nike store in London. Sold out within 10 minutes.
It's a nice kit, but I wouldn't queue up for a shirt, would you?
Well, it's Africa's year, Ben, so I think I would.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't have to because I've got contacts, but I think I would if I was near the Nike shop and I saw that it was opening to sell Nigeria things. I prefer a pair of socks, though.
Okay.
So who's going through then?
I'm
Argentina,
happy to see
Nigeria.
Nigeria go through. Argentina, I think, will get through the group, but they won't do anything else. Argentina's 3 goalkeepers have got 9 caps between them. 2 of them aren't even first choice for their club teams.
Yeah, but Franco Armani is a hell of a goalkeeper.
But will he be playing?
I think he's the number 1 keeper for Argentina, though.
Is that Noel, who they've brought in as the replacement for Romero?
Oh, yeah.
He's playing first-team football in Mexico.
I think you'll see Armani play for Argentina. There's my first prediction.
I mean,
of the podcast.
he is the logical choice, but we'll see. Willy Caballero certainly isn't going to be starting, is he?
Good. E. Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica and Serbia.
Switzerland dominated their qualifying group until the last game, which they lost to Portugal. And do you know who didn't play in that game?
Ricardo Quaresma.
He was on the sidelines cheering them on, obviously inspiring them from the bench.
He was managing them, basically.
Essentially, yeah. That is the only explanation.
He's a football genius.
Costa Rica as well. I like Costa Rica. I always think that they're very much a classic World Cup team, if that makes sense. You know, they're always kind of there, kind of making up the numbers. Last time they got to the quarterfinals, but they're always just there.
I've always felt Mexico is my classic World Cup team.
Mexico is a very good shout as well. Actually, Mexico more so than Costa Rica. Completely agree.
You can't
with you.
have a World Cup without Mexico.
No.
Mexico are always there. And their fans are always the first to arrive in the country where it's being hosted as well.
So, I mean, Brazil to go through for me as group winners. And if Switzerland have managed to get over the fact that they had to take a playoff to get to the World Cup, I'll say them. Because Serbia stopped Wales from going.
I fancy Serbia, actually. Because Serbia like to kick people. And there's teams in that group that don't want to be kicked. So,
True.
Serbia.
Group F. Germany, Mexico, Sweden, South Korea. For my money, that is a good solid World Cup group.
Yeah.
There are 4 sides that you kind of just expect to be at the World Cup.
Yep.
However, Sweden knows Zlatan, so what's the point?
Zlatan is going to Russia, though. Yeah, he is going to Russia, King. It's
He'll
just
be there.
a question of whether he decides to put the shirt on. Because it's not up to the Swedish team to select him. It's just whether Zlatan just happens to just turn up in the dressing room on the day. Because the man is just powerful like that. He can just...
I mean, it doesn't really work like that, John.
He'll just turn up. He might turn up. He might decide he can't be asked and just go and, have a couple of vodkas and chill out in the hospitality.
That's what I plan to do all through the World Cup.
Ooh, you lucky bugger. Are you going to Russia, Ben?
No, just from the comfort of my own sofa.
That's
I'm not a traveller like you, Johnny.
I was wondering if you could have picked me something up while you were there.
Some of those Russian nesting dolls.
Yeah, T-34 tank. Never mind. Another time.
So, Germany are going through then?
Yeah.
Mexico, Sweden or South Korea?
I think
Mexico.
that's difficult. I'd like to see Mexico go through.
Mexico.
However, I think Son has had a fantastic season for Spurs, and he is a bit of an inspiration for Korea. So, South Korea.
Oh, good shout. Okay.
I mean, it's the wrong answer, Ben, but it'll be,
It is, yeah.
We've got to be nice to him sometimes, though.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, good effort, King. Good effort. Good for you. Good for you, Mexico.
Thanks, John, you fucking... Group G! Belgium, Panama, Tunisia, and some country called England. Talking point here, Roberto Martinez has lost the plot. He's not taken Raja Nainggolan in the Belgian
mad
squad.
Decision. Mad decision.
And he says it's for tactical reasons.
Bullshit.
Now, you can't tell me that you're selecting 2 midfielders that are playing in China ahead of arguably the best centre midfielder in Serie A this season. Really? I'm sorry. I'm not having it. Absolutely absurd decision.
Yeah, but great for England.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're still shit.
We're going to win the World Cup.
No, we're not.
Harry Kane's our captain.
He is. And you know what Harry Kane is? The best striker in the world.
Are you high?
Name a better centre-forward than Harry Kane.
Well, when we get on to the next group, I shall.
Aside from the African centre-forwards, who are all better than Harry Kane. But anyone who's not from Africa, who is a better centre-forward than Harry Kane? I can't think of one.
Robert Lewandowski.
No.
Zlatan.
If he turns up, yeah. If he pulls on the shirt, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Cantona.
No, Cantona is a rash of a human being.
Panama. Anyone feeling Panama?
I worry about Panama because they feel like they're going to do an Iceland to us.
Or a Costa Rica from last World Cup?
Yeah. So we're going to be third, but, we'll turn up and all the players will enjoy themselves. So that's the important thing, surely.
So I take it, John, you're back in Tunisia.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, they are the worst African team, but they will win the group.
Okay. And to go through with Tunisia?
England.
Okay. I'm going to stick my neck out on the line and agree with John.
That's foolish, but okay.
I think we'll win the group.
I think Belgium will go through this.
I just think Belgium are rudderless with Martinez. Okay. That's me. But
They will implode.
yeah.
Finally,
But did you hear, before we move on, did you hear about that person who simmed 100 World Cups on Football Manager?
No.
And Belgium won 22 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that the most wins of any country?
Yep. Belgium won nearly a quarter of 100 World Cups.
Wow.
So, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I'd like to think he's got a bit too much time on his hands, but fair play.
Yep,
Thanks.
probably
Thanks
right.
for doing the research.
This is where we find out it was the developers of Football Manager, and they were just running tests of the new sim. But anyway,
Alan and Clive simming away in the basement.
Group H: Poland, Senegal, Colombia, and Japan. I mean, Robert Lewandowski is arguably one of the best centre forwards in football at the moment. Maybe not as good as Harry Kane, just so I can keep John quiet for 2 seconds.
Harry Kane.
But I mean, obviously, top scorer in qualifying. He's had another good season with Bayern. Probably going to nip off to join Real Madrid this year. So I've got a good feeling about Poland. I really have a good feeling about Poland.
Do you remember in the 1980s when Poland were one of the best teams in the world?
Yeah, exactly. And I just get the feeling this Polish side, they've just got something about them.
You've picked the wrong striker to worry about in Poland, though. It's all about
Milik.
Arkadiusz Milik.
That tall glass of milk.
He's a big glass of milk, but I would drink him up, King.
I'm sure you would. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Senegal, I presume that you're going to back them to go through, John?
Yep, group winners.
Right, okay.
This is Africa's year, King. I've done my research.
Colombia, they had such a strong World Cup last time out, but I just don't get that much of a feeling about them. You know, a lot of the bigger players are getting on a bit now. You know, Falcao and Bacca are both in their 30s. Obviously, James Rodriguez has had a good season with Bayern, admittedly, and he should really be in his prime now, but
he's not very good.
I just don't see them having a massive impact, unfortunately.
No. Mane, pace, 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 cut inside, goal.
So we're taking the FIFA 15 approach.
Indeed. Yeah.
And the Japanese. Do you know this is the third time that Japan have been drawn in Group H?
And how have they done it on the other 3 times?
The first time was their debut in '98, and they finished bottom of the group. The second time, and in that group were also Croatia and Jamaica, who were also making their debut that year.
And Argentina, weren't they?
Argentina were in the group, yeah, but they weren't making their debut.
And Argentina were with Croatia in that group as well, as they are this year.
Good observation, John. The other time was 2002, when Japan were the hosts, and they won Group H on that occasion.
And the World Cup itself.
My only concern for them is that they've replaced their manager just a couple of months ago, which is always a risky strategy, particularly in international football. But I like the Japanese. They've got a good side, and Okazaki's been in good form for Leicester this season. Obviously, Kagawa back at Dortmund. They've got one of the great defensive midfielders in Makoto Hasebe of Eintracht Frankfurt. I've just got a soft spot for them because I've been managing them on Pro Evo recently.
I wondered if you were going to mention that.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? Maya Yoshida, centre half. What can go wrong?
They're not going to qualify though, are they, King?
Poland and Japan for me.
Absolutely rubbish. Senegal top scored in the group by Kalidou Koulibaly, who is just going to head in every single ball that goes up in the air. Doesn't matter where on the pitch it is, he will head it in the back of the net.
Despite having never scored for his country before.
First time for everything, King. And then a second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, all in the group stage.
Okay. Good. Well, there you go. There's our preview of the groups. We're going to take another short interlude now, and then we'll be back just to make some absurd predictions. Sorry, Ben? Got something to say?
Yeah, did you get a chance to do a Deadly Spook Space, Johnny? Because I know you were going to prep it.
No, I've been busy. I haven't really had time, Ben. I've been away.
Doing what?
Oh, the same thing I do every 4 years.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no, I do remember now. Yeah. Obviously. Johnny has been researching his the teams he thinks are going to win.
Yeah, it's Africa's year, Ben. I'm absolutely convinced of it, and I'm convinced of it every 4 years, except for the year when it was in Africa, and Shakira and Pitbull were the most African people they could find to make a song about the World Cup. But apart from that, which was mostly my protest, this time I think it's going to be Africa's year. So yeah, I've done my research. I gave you a ring, I think, at some point.
You did?
Didn't I, Ben?
Called me. Did you get your flight back all right? You didn't catch anything?
Well, I had to... It was tricky, but yeah, I had to take a military plane. But it was okay in the end. I'd made friends.
Luckily, my calls at work are recorded, so we can share that with you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go on then. I can't remember what I said now.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm in Africa.
I'm sorry?
What?
What do you mean? What do you mean you're in Africa?
Oh, I just thought I'd ring you up because I'm back in Africa again, aren't I?
Mate, this is not a time for a wind up. I'm working.
No,
Oh.
you know it's a World Cup year, isn't it? 2018. Like the World Cup's going to start soon, so I've gone back to Africa to do my research again.
Like, mate, we've had this discussion before. What? It's an expensive way to find out. I mean, what are you even trying to do over there?
Well, it's better than
ridiculous.
King's way of doing it, isn't it? Because he keeps just stealing other people's work, like he always does on Dictionary Corner. He's just stealing other people's work from flipping football magazines and stuff now. Whereas I've actually been on a tour of Africa to all the African countries to find out if they're going to win the World Cup. And now here I am, just relaxing in Kenya with a nice cup of coffee amongst the Great Plains, just before I fly back. And I just thought I'd ring you up to tell you what I found out while I'm here in Africa.
Cool. Well,
I like
I'm at
Africa.
work, so why don't you just pop it in an
but
email?
this is important, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's the World Cup year, Ben.
right, you got 2 minutes.
All right, I'll see what I can do. I started in Egypt, Ben, because Egypt are making a big fuss about the fact they've qualified for the World Cup this year, and they've got this bloke called Mo Salah, who is hopefully going to be okay, and he's Egypt are good. They've done well in the African Cup of Nations and stuff, and they're probably the best team in Africa. And they've got a really easy group because they've got Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay are cheaters, and Russia won't score a goal, and neither will Saudi Arabia. So I think Egypt could do it. And also, how does Saudi Arabia even get into a World Cup finals? They've never been good at football. There's not even one Saudi player in history that I can name who's played in a top league. I can't do it, Ben. And Uruguay and Egypt are going to go through in their group, but Egypt could win the World Cup, Ben. But I think it's going to take a little bit of alien intervention or Stargate nonsense.
Oh, don't tell me.
Maybe from Teok.
You're going to say that. What is that in the background, by the way? I swear I can hear music.
Oh yeah, they've got some lads drumming over here, just doing the local music scene and stuff. And I tried to join in, but I got it wrong. Apparently, you have to use the drum with an open hand and not just hit it. Because I was just hitting it with like the side of my fist. That's not how you play the local drums, apparently. But I don't know. I've never played drums before.
And you didn't think of going somewhere a bit quieter before you bothered me at work? Nice.
Well, Africa's loud. There's all these animals and drums everywhere, and the occasional African thing happening. So it's all loud everywhere you go. Even on top of the mountains, it's loud because up there they've got like huge giant cats and eagles.
I know what you're talking about now. Anyway, I probably better go, mate. So
no, I've got to tell you about Morocco.
Oh, for God's sake!
Morocco, they're a dangerous team, Ben. They could disrupt the progress of Spain and Portugal, who they share a group with. But I'm not sure they'll get in the top two of their group to progress. But I don't know, Ben. I think Africa could win the World Cup again this year. And you know what? They'll definitely beat Iran, because Iran are rubbish and their great player Ali Daei no longer exists, and he's the best striker ever in international football. Plus, anyway, Iran's too busy developing nuclear weapons and stuff to bother with football, so don't worry about that. But they've got Belhanda, Amrabat, Ziyech, Benatia, Harit, and they've got a young guy who plays for Real Madrid called Hakimi, who's meant to be quite good as well. And if Morocco win the World Cup, Ben, I will sing the entirety of Rock the Casbah.
As long as we don't have to have that on the podcast.
Well, I might just sing it in the pub, actually. Hey, before you go, Ben, I'll tell you about Senegal as well, because they've only got one good defender who's
Can't
one of
you
the...
phone Kingy and tell him this?
No, because he'll just say, "Oh yeah, I know this already. I've been reading all these magazines," stealing content like he always does. But they're one good defender at Senegal, Kalidou Koulibaly. He's one of the best centre backs in the world. He's amazing, and he plays for my team, Napoli. So you know he's good. And they've got great midfielders. They've got Gueye, Kouyaté, the Ndayes, Sadio Mane, who plays for that disgusting team called Liverpool, Niang, and Moussa Sow, who was really good a few years ago. But they've got Poland, Colombia, and Japan in their group, which is going to be quite tough for them. But Ben, if they can be organised in defence and just use their pace up front to counter, maybe Senegal can win the World Cup, Ben. Maybe. Senegal love a World Cup, and they beat France in 2002 as well, so I reckon they could do it. And if they do, I'll dress up as a lion for a night out with Smooth Traffic. Yep.
You do realise this is all going to be recorded, all of these wild claims that you've made. I will hold you to it.
I don't mind dressing up as a lion. I've always felt there's something feline about me anyway.
On the positive side, that music stopped now. That's a great result.
Yeah, well, I'll see what I can do about that, Ben. Sorry about that. Lads, more drums. All right. Yeah, I'll have.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'll have one. Yeah, go on then. Just one. Sorry about that, Ben. Yeah, I've got them to start the drums again now. Yeah, right. They're back on it. Do you want to know about Tunisia?
So we're not done? No?
Do you want
how many more African countries are in this bloody World Cup?
Well, I went to Tunisia after I went to the other places that I've been to, and things aren't looking very good for Tunisia, but they've got England in their group, so that's a guaranteed 3 points straight away. They're not very good. They've only got one good player. He's called Wabi Kazri, and he played in England before and he wasn't too good, but I think Tunisia might win the World Cup, and if they do, it'll be because Egypt's Stargate nonsense has backfired and sort of made Tunisia great instead of making Egypt great. But Tunisia are really bad. They haven't really got anyone exciting, Ben. I don't even like Tunisia much, to be honest. I'm not going back there unless they're back in the World Cup in 4 years' time, and I have to for my research that I do every 4 years when I visit Africa. But otherwise, I don't think I'll go anymore.
Hello? You still there, mate?
No. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had to take a call. I didn't hear any of that.
Oh.
But,
don't worry, it's only Tunisia. They're rubbish. But I got a better team to tell you about. I'll tell you what, this is the last team I can tell you about because there's no other African teams in the World Cup, sadly, Ben.
Good.
But this is Nigeria, and they have the best football kit I've ever seen at a World Cup finals. And to be honest, that alone could take them all the way to the trophy. Yeah. But they're going to have to work quite hard because they're lacking a good defence, and only the organisation, grit, determination, and are willing to die for the cause, Ben, for an African World Cup. And their really fucking cool kit can help them win the World Cup. But they've got some good Premier League players like Iwobi, Iniacho, Musa, and there's this guy called Igalo who used to play in the Premier League, and they've also got a bloke from Chelsea called Moses. Biblical, lovely biblical name. But if those boys can get going and create some sexy action up top, anything is possible, Ben. Look at that kit! Look at that kit! Nigeria! But, I was thinking about this, and I thought, if Nigeria do win the World Cup, I will personally visit an eagle at a bird farm and feed it some steak.
What?
But they've got Argentina and Croatia in their group, so it's unlikely I'll become an eagle tamer anytime soon. But there we go. But imagine if I did, though, Ben. I could ruin your life, Ben. I could train it to drop bombs and attack your hair and stuff. Oh, I'm excited now. Come on, Nigeria. But anyway,
when you get excited, do you want to destroy things or kill me?
Yeah, I do. I do actually, don't I? Anyway, Ben, I'm just going to go now because there's some more African food coming around, and I'm a bit hungry. But yeah, Africa going to win the World Cup. Don't listen to anything King says. This year is going to be Africa's year, and one of the teams in one of the places that I've visited over the last month or so, they're going to win the World Cup. But yeah. Sorry about that, Ben. Yep. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll make sure I do that. Yep. Okay, Ben. Yep. Okay, Ben. Bye.
Told you we went.
Wow.
That is proof that I went to Africa.
Absolutely. The fact that the drumming stopped almost perfectly just before the end of the call, it was completely irrelevant.
Authentic.
That is authentic African drumming by authentic African people I met in an authentic African cafe in Kenya.
Clearly.
That's where all my money goes.
Right.
That's why I don't have much money, because every 4 years I spend
you go to Africa.
$9,000 travelling to Africa to do research for the World Cup, because I'm always convinced it's Africa's year, and this year is no different. It's definitely Africa's year this year. I mean, it's not been any other year, so it must be this year.
Okay.
Not quite sure what to make.
I haven't really got anything else to add. I'm glad that you're getting out and seeing the world, John.
Yep.
I'm a bit disappointed that you didn't say what you were going to do if Egypt won the World Cup.
Dress up as a pyramid.
Okay. Tunisia?
Dress up as... No, I got nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all. What's from Tunisia? Tunisia is like one of those nations that doesn't really have anything distinctive about it.
Ben Slimani was from Tunisia. Do you remember him?
Don't know who he is. No.
Played at the '98 World Cup.
No, I think I was in Africa for that
Johnny
World
dress
Cup.
up as him?
I don't really want Johnny to dress up as anyone, thanks, Ben.
Oh, okay.
King, if you want me to dress up as someone for you, I will.
This is taking a turn.
Good. Anyway, thanks for taking the effort to pop over and do the research, Johnny. Appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. You know, I like to
call me
be
at
thorough. Yeah, sorry about that. But, you know, I had to tell someone about what a great time I was having, and, you know, if I'd run King, he would have been all like, yeah, I know all this already, I'm a legend, you know, all those things he always says.
When have I ever said I'm a legend?
All the time.
Right then, lads. After going through the groups and obviously Johnny's trip to Africa, apparently.
What do you mean, apparently? There's concrete proof that I went to Africa there. You can hear the drums.
Calm yourself down, John. Calm yourself down.
Unbelievable.
So, what time is it? Is it time for Dictionary Corner? No, it isn't, lads. No, it isn't. Because you two thought that I was going to prepare some hilarious footballers' names for Dictionary Corner. Didn't you?
No.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did. I admit it.
John, you were excited to find out about the French goalkeeper Alphonse Areola, because he's got a funny surname. And
he does, doesn't he? Is that cheese related?
I wouldn't like to say. Ben was looking forward to hearing about his favourite German footballer, Stefan Kuntz.
There's no need for that.
But alas, no. What we're actually going to do is we're going to have a World Cup quiz, lads!
Oh, okay. That's...
That is massively unfair.
That is,
oh,
that
no,
is
it
good
isn't,
for
Ben.
me.
Because this is not a classic World Cup quiz. This is a classic smooth traffic World Cup quiz.
Oh, Christ.
Okay.
This could go
Oh, God help us.
very wrong.
There are 8 questions.
Right.
If it's all tied, I have a tiebreaker as well.
It won't be.
The tiebreaker is probably the easiest question of the set.
How much Africa is there in this quiz, King?
It features.
Nailed on
Let's
win.
put it that way. It features. So
Right.
the quiz is split into 4 sections. Section 1 is about cheese.
Ooh.
Section 2 is about art.
Ooh.
Section 3 is about cars.
Ooh.
And Section 4 is about football.
Ooh.
Wow. No wonder you're so excited about this.
I feel quite good about this quiz, Ben.
Excellent.
I think I know everything about all of these topics.
We shall see, won't we? But it's all World Cup themed, obviously. So,
Okay.
are you ready?
Baby Bell.
Good. I'll take that as a yes. Question 1 then, in the cheese round. Which country at this year's World Cup is the world's greatest exporter of cheese?
It's got to be France, hasn't it?
No, it's not France. Wait, what are the countries in the World Cup again, King? Can you read them out?
Well, all 32.
No.
I'm going to go with Germany.
That is 1 point to Johnny.
Ah.
Germany exports $4.4 billion worth of cheese per annum.
Bloody hell, that's loads.
That makes up 14.5% of world cheese exports.
Yeah, you see?
What are their best cheeses? Those like smoky sausage cheeses.
Yeah, they're really nice. Have you had them, Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I really fancy
Actually,
some
they
cheese
put
now.
cheese in sausages, don't they, as well? That's the other thing.
Mmm. Oh, you know what? I love cheese.
You can say what you like about the Germans, but
They know what they're doing.
their cuisine ideas, they're all over that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
One love.
question 2. In the cheese round, which country at this year's World Cup imports the most cheese and dairy products?
England.
It's got to be a country with not much grass. I'm a country with a large population. Russia.
Ben, I will let you choose someone other than England if you'd like to.
Yeah.
That sounds suspicious, King. Are you saying England is wrong?
Well, let's put it this way. England isn't the answer to any question in this quiz.
Well, now you're giving us an advantage.
Who would he?
Especially
cheese?
Ben.
I don't know. Germany.
Interesting idea, but no, it's Japan.
Is it?
Yeah, Russia were second on the list.
Oh.
But Japan imports 270,000 metric tons of dairy products per annum.
Oh, I say. That is a lot of
so
cheese.
I forgot about dairy products. I was just thinking cheese. Okay.
So there we go. Still 1-0. Cheese round over.
Did you know, Ben, the best place to hide in a zombie apocalypse is a cheese factory?
That's not correct.
No, apparently it's my
Fake
flat
news.
because of the dodgy toilet seat. Right, section 2, art.
Is the answer Cantona?
No.
Oh.
So, Pierre-Henri de Valenciennes has the most pieces of art at the Louvre, which I'm sure you knew already, John, having been
I
to
do.
the Louvre.
I basically lived there for a week in my
Yeah.
art phase.
And I'm sure you knew that he has 127 pieces in that museum.
Some have said 130. A few of them are unknown.
But, in which 1998 World Cup host city was he born? So basically, which French city was he born in that was a host city in the World Cup of 1998?
Bordeaux.
I'm thinking something dirty and arty. Marseille. There's always a few drugs and things to paint in Marseille.
It was in fact Toulouse. So, unlucky
The
lads.
sausage factory place.
Still 1-0 to Johnny. Question 4, sticking with our new friend Pierre-Henri. Which host city from Italia 90 did he spend the years between 1778 and 1782 painting landscapes? So which Italian city did he spend 4 years painting landscapes in?
I'm going to say Napoli.
Okay. Ben?
Ben's got to think of a city in Italy now.
Yeah.
Is it Rome?
I had a couple.
Is it Rome?
It might be Rome. Rome's too obvious. Let's go for Rome.
1-1! Well done,
Yeah!
Ben. It was in fact Rome, where Pierre-Henri de Valenciennes spent 4 years in the late 1700s.
See, sometimes it is obvious.
So that's quite interesting, because the art section, Ben has won. But you did win the cheese section, Johnny.
To be honest, ever since you said cheese, I haven't been able to
That's
think
all you
about
can think
anything
about.
else.
He's been salivating.
Right.
Oh, I need a baby bell.
Let's get on to the automotive section of our quiz. Question 5. In which country at this year's World Cup is the longest national highway in the world?
Sorry, what was the question again? I was thinking about baby bells.
In which country at this year's World Cup is the longest national highway in the world?
Australia.
Well, I heard that China had just built the longest national road. So I think this question might be outdated. So I'll just say Russia, because it's really big.
It was Russia, John, before Australia built Highway 1.
Oh.
Which does a circle of the entire country.
Bloody hell.
It passes through every state apart from the Australian Capital Territory.
Smooth traffic road trip?
Maybe.
In.
A lap of Australia?
A lap of Australia.
Oh, we could do it in like a ute. But the two people who aren't driving can sit in the back and just drink loads of Australian beers as a tribute to Australian people.
I was going to say, we'll try and break the record that the Australian cricket team set.
Exactly.
In drinking beer at the same time as trying to set a record for doing a lap of Australia.
Yep. If anyone would like to pay for that, please tweet us at Smooth Traffic, and please send us about 100 grand up front, which we'll need to buy the beer.
So, question 6. There are 3 points on offer here.
Why?
I jest, there are only 2 points.
Why?
Because there are 2 answers.
Oh.
Host nation Russia is famous for dashcam YouTube videos and endless car accidents. However, according to a report by the World Health Organization in 2015, 2 nations at this year's tournament had more road fatalities than Russia. Can you name them?
Mexico. Poland.
I've
Okay.
got no idea.
It won't be Germany and it won't be Japan.
No, well that's it. They're too obvious. South Korea is probably too obvious as well, isn't it?
I bet they're really lovely in South Korea.
Yeah, probably.
Trying to think who's in it now. Let's go random then. Croatia. Oh no, I was going to say Italy, but they're not in it. Yeah, go on then. And Spain.
Well, I can tell you that this report showed that Russia had experienced 27,025 road fatalities in 1 year. Above them, Nigeria, with 35,621.
Oh, that's not good.
So I'd assume there'd be less. I didn't pick anywhere in Africa because I thought the roads wouldn't be as busy.
And Brazil.
Oh, Brazil.
46,935 fatalities.
So I get 2 points because I was closest.
You get no points because you didn't get any of them right.
But I did visit Africa.
So you should have known, really.
Yeah, that was the African question, John. Nigeria were in there. You should have used that knowledge.
Sucks to be you, Johnny.
It makes me think you never went.
No, I went in a helicopter everywhere. That's why it's so expensive. Jesus.
So, that is still 2-1 to Ben.
Take that.
Where is it in Africa that people always download our podcast? There's an African country that downloads a lot of our podcasts.
Somalia.
Somalia.
Oh, it's true.
Sorry I didn't get a chance to visit this time Somalia, but wait 4 years. I'll be back. I'll try and stop by. Don't you worry about it.
So, the football segment of this football quiz. Question 7. Which countries failed to qualify for the 2018 World Cup, but are still represented by managers of other countries? So which countries aren't at the World Cup, but have a manager there, obviously managing a different country?
Italy.
There are 3 answers, 3 points on offer.
What is he doing?
I think he's trying to start his brain.
Oh, jeez.
So, Ben, you've gone Italy as one of your 3.
I'd love to have some cheese right now.
Johnny, focus.
Oh, sorry.
You can still win this.
Scotland.
Okay.
Scotland, Chile, and
Was it 3, was it?
Austria.
Scotland, Chile and Austria. Yes, 3 sides, Ben. Or 3 countries, I should say.
Not sure if I can remember 3 that didn't get through.
Just pick 3 countries, Ben.
So the Netherlands didn't. So the Americans probably don't have any. Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast. So Italy, Ivory Coast and...
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands. That is 1 more point to Ben. And none to John. Ben now has an insurmountable lead, 3-1.
Was it Italy?
It was the Netherlands, in fact.
Oh, was it?
Bert van Marwijk is manager of Australia.
Oh, isn't he Australian, though?
No, he's Dutch, John.
Well, he is the manager of Australia, so doesn't that mean he's Australian?
I mean, you're just you're just picking apart the question now.
All I'll say, King, is let's see who he cheers for in Russia.
Well, the Dutch aren't there, so obviously Australia.
I'll expect that point to Ben rescinded then, King, because he's definitely Australian, because he won't be cheering for the Netherlands.
The other 2 were Bosnia, Vladimir Petkovic managing Switzerland, and Norway, Denmark manager Arga Hareide. So there you go. Well, final question then. If you get this right, though, John, I will strike off Ben's point, just so we can have the tiebreaker.
Crumbs. That's a bit harsh.
Because Ben got it wrong, because he's Australian.
He's got to get it right first, Ben. The 2010 World Cup final featured 2 teams, Spain and the Netherlands, who had never previously won a World Cup trophy. Prior to that, what was the last final to feature 2 teams who hadn't won the trophy before?
The 1978 World Cup final.
Okay.
Oh, I have literally no idea. Well, I know we didn't. We
Oh,
we
no,
won
can
the
I
first time
change
in
my
66.
Can you change your answer?
Yeah.
Potentially. I think we should let Ben make a guess first, and then I'll let you change your answer.
Okay, I think
Well, I was going for 66.
Okay.
So he's welcome to change it because he wasn't going to pick that.
Ben? John, sorry?
I think it was 1998. I don't think France had won it before.
France hadn't won it before, but Brazil had.
Oh, it's both teams, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll stick with 1978 then.
1978.
Yeah, because I don't think either of those 2... That was Argentina versus the Netherlands, wasn't it, in the World Cup, where the Argentines doped up all their players and bribed a load of people and had Johan Cruyff burgled before the World Cup finals, so he didn't want to go anymore.
You are correct, John. Well done.
Boo.
Both the Netherlands and Argentina had lost finals before, but neither had actually won.
So does that mean Bert van Marwijk is Australian?
No.
I think it does.
But there are 2 points on offer for the tiebreaker. So you could still win this.
Oh, right, go there.
This one is a test of memory.
Oh no.
Because this is something we've already covered in this episode.
King, I've had concussions.
So, thinking back to earlier in the episode, in what year did Portugal's greatest player, Ricardo Quaresma, make
2003.
his Portugal debut?
Sorry, mate, his what debut, or all I heard was Jonny shouting?
His debut for Portugal.
2001.
It was 2003.
I thought it might have been.
So well done, Ben. You won the quiz, and Johnny, you won the tiebreaker. Mainly because I just wanted to test whether John was actually paying attention. Although
I know everything about Ricardo Quaresma.
Yeah, why wouldn't you know that? The man's a hero.
He's the greatest footballer, possibly of all time, and is very underappreciated, and he has very cool tattoos.
He also has some rather questionable tattoos. That's not...
Yeah, but that's part of the game, isn't it? You get some good ones, you get some bad ones, and then you get so many you can't even tell what you had anymore.
Well done, Kingy. That was probably the best. No, that was definitely the best dictionary corner ever.
Yeah,
so
I'd agree with that.
Like that.
So it's the best time of any Smooth Traffic episode that's got anything to do with any kind of sport.
The end?
Almost, Ben. It's prediction time. Before we do any predictions, I just want to say the odds on winning the World Cup, Brazil and Germany are the favourites. The odds on winning the Golden Ball, Neymar and Messi are the favourites. Ricardo Quaresma is 200 to 1 to be named the best player at this World Cup.
Everyone who's listening to this podcast needs to stick 20 quid on that right now, because that is a hell of a bargain of an odd.
200 to 1.
You could be a millionaire if you listen to us.
Well, steady.
Or more than likely, 20 quid worse off.
Yes, we accept no liability for any bets that you choose to place on Ricardo Quaresma, just because John said that you should. If you've been listening to this podcast, you should know that John is not someone that you should trust, particularly with money. So yeah, Brazil and Germany favourites. Then it's Spain, France, Argentina, Belgium, England, and then FC Ricardo Quaresma are available between 25 and 28 to 1 to be World Cup champions.
King, is this segment sponsored by Betfair by any chance?
No, but
well, it should be.
Betfair, if you'd like to sponsor this podcast, please do tweet us at Smooth Traffic.
I'll give you 1 to 10 on that Betfair don't tweet us.
So, predictions, John. Who's going to win the World Cup? What ridiculous thing is going to happen at this World Cup? Who's going to be top scorer?
I think the top scorer is going to be Harry Kane, as England are tragically beaten 5-0 in the final by Morocco.
Okay.
Or any other African qualified team, because it could be any of them. It all depends on what the Egyptian Stargate does. Because if it goes in Egypt's favour, it could be Egypt. If it goes in Morocco's, it could be... When the aliens get involved, anything could happen. But it is Africa's year, as it is every year, that they don't win it. So Africa's year, African World Cup, Harry Kane top scorer, and I predict Bert van Marwijk to get a new passport before the end of the World Cup.
Because his previous one's run out. So he's got to get a new Dutch passport. Ben, to keep this interesting, which African side do you think will get furthest?
Africa.
Yeah. Don't know. Nigeria. No, I think Uruguay will get the golden boot through Cavani.
Ooh.
They've got an easy group. He'll score loads.
It's an outrageous suggestion, Ben.
But I think
outrageous suggestion. It's going to be Mido.
Wheeling Mido out of retirement. Fucking hell.
Get him out his box, stick him up
An
front.
outrageous claim will be, or the ridiculous thing to happen will be...
England losing in the final.
No, don't be ridiculous. You think they might get anywhere near the final is ridiculous.
In the final minute of their first group game. Gandalf to turn up, maybe?
Gandalf. Is he going to be there, do you reckon?
I reckon that there will be someone dressed as Gandalf in one of the stands at the World Cup, and we will see it on television.
Huh?
A person dressed as Gandalf.
No,
and it can't be you.
I think that Ibrahimovic will claim that whoever won did it because of him in some way.
Okay.
Which is not really that outrageous, really, is it? I just think whoever wins, it'll be because they were channeling his inner... Or they're probably because he's wearing or using his new face creams and stuff.
Yeah, I need to get some of them. I really need to get some of them. They look delicious.
Zlatan face creams and
sports gear and everything. I'd love to dress like Zlatan.
Kingy, what are your crazy predictions?
I think that Argentina are going to go out in the group stage.
Nope. They'll reach the semi-finals.
I think that... who do I fancy for Golden Boot?
Harry Kane.
Golden Boot, I'm going to say, is going to go to the Japanese hero Yoshinori Muto, despite the fact he's only scored 2 goals in his 22 caps so far. And
that is a bizarre suggestion, King, quite honestly.
My bold claim is going to be...
Oh, that wasn't your bold claim?
No. Serious.
Christ. Okay, this should be interesting then.
No,
Neil Armstrong to come back from the dead and score the winning goal with his Astro suit
on. Genuinely, I think Lewandowski will be top scorer. But... it's Zlatan related. Zlatan to play at the World Cup.
Okay.
Because he wants to, and he does what he wants.
Yeah, just because. Even
For
though
Morocco.
Even though Sweden have already confirmed their final 23, Zlatan's just going to turn up and go, actually, I'm in.
Someone has to leave.
Yeah.
What can you do when Zlatan turns up? He's a black belt in whatever martial art he does, because I know he does one. I can't remember which one it is.
All of them.
All of them. Potentially all of them. He's like a Power Ranger. He knows all the moves. And, he's massive. He's 6'5", and he's cool as fuck. So, if he turns up, you just have to, lie on the floor and let him tread on you.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. But do ask him for some of that cream, because it, it looks good.
Healing properties. And logical prediction, Panama to draw with England.
Yeah.
0-0.
I think we can all agree on that one.
Disappointingly.
Yeah, 0-0.
Yeah, it would be disappointing for us. Even if we won the World Cup, it would be disappointing for some reason.
Oh, I thought you meant disappointingly for Panama. Disappointing for Panama that they could only draw with England.
As an England fan, you'll be disappointed, whatever happens.
Well, thanks very much for listening to this World Cup special of Smooth Traffic. Normal service will be resumed next time with the usual shite that we normally jabber on about. But in the meantime, if you haven't already, or even if you have, if you could rate and review us on iTunes or your podcasting collection website, that would be terrific.
It's funny.
It's
funny that, isn't it?
All the help we can get.
This is undoubtedly a fucking awful podcast, but we need people to say it's incredible. It's a shame there's not a system for making us, letting people know just how terrible this podcast is.
Also, we should ask people to rate and subscribe at the start, because I don't think anyone's listening at this point.
No, probably
Valid
not.
point. Well, if you are still listening, please do tweet us at Smooth Traffic. So, until next time, it's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from Ben,
Cheerio.
and it's a long farewell from John.
Goodbye!